month of April in this lovely pandemic, and people are starting to go stir crazy. I've had a pretty good time. I've just became technically laid off. I started collecting my unemployment. April 1st was my last day of work, so been at this for about 15 days. Well, sorry, 13 days. And I'm starting to get a little stir crazy, but I've had a good time. Insert picture. And I'm starting to get a little worried that I don't have much to do, so I went ahead and ordered some parts for about 700 bucks back in October. It needs a little bit of work, but nothing terrible. Right, it doesn't go as fast as I would like. It is a little two-cylinder. It's a 2000 Hyundai Tiburon, nothing fancy. I ordered some car parts for it because, well, I need stuff to do, and unfortunately it's raining right now, so there's not much I'm going to do today. But some parts should be coming in the mail. That's a good thing. Some stuff I can do on my workbench in the basement, because I don't have a garage, unfortunately, which would be nice if I had one. But it's not cold out. I'm out here in a t-shirt. It's rainy, but it's not cold. Let's see what I got in store for a little pick-me-up on the 2000 Tibi. Alright guys, so we're here in my tiny little workroom. Let me give you a quick glimpse. It's not exactly the best. I don't have all my tools here at home. I have most of them at my job where I work for a dealership as a automotive technician. Brought a couple tools home. Yeah, I know it's not fancy. It's in a box. Some things over there. But just a small little workroom. A couple extension cords, a grocery bag with some odds and ends in it. Fan for recirculation, some hoses and extra parts down there. Got a small toolbox with some tools in it. Nice little workbench my little brother and I made. And a little metal cabinet with a couple things in it. Some tools, some paints, wiring stuff. Nothing super fancy. But what we got today is I'm going to show you guys some interesting things that I found out about this Tiburon. So my 2000 Hyundai Tiburon comes with a 2.0 fuel injectors for this particular vehicle. Look very similar to this. This fuel injector is out of a 2003 Hyundai Tiburon. And if I can get the camera to focus. Let's see, come on. Let's try something a little different. Alright, so now we got our little tripod set up here, see if we can get in the wrong direction. See if we can get a good clear picture, shine a little light on the situation, shall we? Let's see here. As you can see here, this injector only has 4 little portholes in it for spraying fluid. It's more of a stream than a mist. These are very similar to what comes into the 2.0 and the 2000 Hyundai Tiburon. So what we're going to do is these do push a little more fuel, but I went to my local scrapyard, went for a walk, found some 2003 Hyundai vehicles which came with better fuel injectors because they had the Gen 2 2.0 engine in them, which got a little more horsepower, better fuel economy, and we pulled these out. These are the newer fuel injectors. They are They are quite a bit different in looks. However, if we line them up from gasket to gasket, they're about the same length. They should work. They should definitely fit in. They use the same kind of mounting brackets for the fuel rail, which are these fancy little clips here. They just kind of slide this way onto here and clip onto the fuel rail. These particular ones, if I can, let's see here, get this to focus. Focus. Add a little more light here. Let's see. Turn the light on. Torch on. Here we go. And if we can get this to focus. Oh, there we go. As you can see, this particular fuel injector comes with 12 port nozzles. Well, 12 nozzles. 12 ports in the nozzle. And they're significantly smaller than that on the other one here, which this sprays a finer mist in more of a cone shape in comparison to this one. This one sprays better. This one does a stream. This one will get you much better fuel economy and probably a little more bang for your buck out of it. Now, like I said, I went up to my local junkyard and pulled these out of a used car because I don't want to go spending $100 on a fuel injector when fuel injectors don't usually go bad. I did test every one of these. I will have to show you guys how I did such things. But this is one of many little simple upgrades I'm going to do to see if I can get better fuel economy and a little more horsepower. So now we're going to show you how I tested the fuel injectors. Alright, so I'm going to set my camera up real quick and show you what I got laying out here on the table. Alright guys, so this is what we got. We got a couple of pieces of, two small pieces of hose here. This is the straw from brake parts cleaner, fuel injector cleaner, carbon intake cleaner. With that, a couple pieces of heat shrink and a few hose clamps. So the goal is, move these off to the side for now. This is going to go inside here, and this is going to go inside here. As you can see, this is 1/2 inch inside diameter, which fits perfectly over top of my fuel injectors. This, I believe, is 1/4 inch inside. I'm not exactly positive at the moment. I don't remember what I put down for that. So as you can see, this does slide inside here, but we need this to be pretty airtight. And yeah, I could just use a hose clamp for that, but what we're going to do is we're going to use a piece of this heat shrink. Give me 1 second. I'm going to take a easy pair of scissors here. We're going to cut a bit off of this. Slide this over top of this hose here. Oh, look, it doesn't fit. Looks like I need a bigger piece of heat shrink. It's fine. We got that right here. Here we go. Slightly bigger piece of heat shrink tube. I don't know why I thought that other one was going to work. Cut this one down to right about that size. This slides right over top of this. And in case you guys don't know what heat shrink is plastic tubing, rubber tubing, that when heated with a small amount of heat, like a lighter, it shrinks and seals around whatever it is you're trying to heat shrink. It's good for wiring, but we're just going to use this for like a gasket, make it a little tighter. Just going to heat it up. Make sure you turn and heat it evenly to make sure it bonds and seals properly. All right. Go. A little thicker now. Should be able to, there we go. Now it's a nice tight seal instead of sliding in easily. There we go. I'm going to take the hose clamp, slide that over top here. I'm going to tighten this hose clamp down. Now you can use a screwdriver for these. I prefer to use a ratchet because they just seem to work better. Oops. Alright, should be nice and tight now. Can't pull it out very easily. Alright, now we got to make this straw fit tightly and snugly inside this hole, which it's a pretty big hole. And now it's time for warp speed! Oh yeah, that's nice and tight there. Insert that right into there. Take a little hose clamp. I'm going to put this hose clamp right around here. Should be 1/4 inch. Alright, so now we got this little contraption fit together here. This obviously goes into your carb cleaner, brake cleaner, whatever you're going to use. And this fits around the injector port. 1 second, I'll grab one of these. The one from the Elantra. And the one from the Tiburon. Here we go. We got a small container here with a lid. Let's move these bits of heat shrink out of the way. We don't need those anymore. Okay. This is the ports. This is where your fuel rail goes. So we're going to slide this nice and snug into there. Move this hose clamp down because we're not going to get a whole lot of pressure. We do need to have some pressure, which is why we're going to use our can of carb cleaner here as our pressure and our source of cleaning fluid. Now we need to be able to activate these fuel injectors, and as you can see here we have two prong, and on this one, I don't know if you guys can see right here, it actually shows a positive sign on the side, so that would be the positive wire. In order to do this, we have a 12-volt battery that we're going to jump into. We have, this is actually, I shouldn't say little, it's a big 40 amp fuse. We're going to use that for jumping. It's going to squeeze that right into the battery negative side. And for the positive, actually, yeah, put that into the battery negative side. For the positive side, we're going to use a 10 amp fuse. This not only allows me to bridge off of it and jump from the battery pack, but it also saves it where if there is some kind of short, I can blow a fuse rather than burning out my battery. So let's put this over here. We'll put this right here. And we're going to use a jumper wire I made out of some gator clips and half of a old trailer wiring harness. So obviously we're going to need the thin ones for inside the injector, and we'll use the bigger ones for the battery. So we're just gonna clamp black to negative because that just makes sense. We're not going to clamp the positive down on the battery just yet. And we're going to switch out this hose here with this fancy contraption. There we go. Okay, good. Good. Just want to make sure you guys can see all this stuff here. So now we're going to clamp these onto our posts inside the port for the plug. Now, remember, like I said, this side would be positive, bottom would be negative. So let's attach the negative side first. Now remember, our positive is not attached, so we don't have to worry about any kind of electricity or jumping the gun on feeding our injector power here. So we're just going to clamp this inside there. And then we're going to clamp this one on this side, just like that. Now we're going to just pump this a little bit. We're not going to feed a whole lot of pressure, and that's what we want to do. We don't want to feed it a ton of pressure. Now let's see, can we put something here? That's paper. Alright, so I'm just going to have to angle this down into there like that. That should work just fine. So you know what? We'll use this. We'll put this just here like, nope, maybe not. Maybe we're not going to do that at all. See if we can get this to, there we go, we got that to stand. Now, your injectors aren't constantly active, they pulse, right? So what we're going to do is we're going to add some fluid, some cleaning solution into our little chamber that we made out of hoses. And once that has enough, just a couple taps, once that has a little bit of pressure in there, we're going to tap the positive off of this, which will activate our fuel injector and push out, will release any of the fuel or cleaning solution we have in our little chamber we made here. So let's go ahead and add some fuel. I'm going to hold this up so it doesn't fall down. All right, we got a little bit in there. Now all you got to do is tap. Oh, we don't have anywhere near enough in there. All right, now let's try this. See how it goes. And we are just about out of fluid. And that's how you check to make sure your injectors are nice and clean without a special cleaning machine. So as you can see, that one, it had more of a stream than a spray. It kind of sprayed just the two sides. So let's disconnect all this. Pop this out of here. Oh, we still had a little bit of fluid left over in there. That's fine, that's fine. We're gonna take this and destroy the place. Let's move that out of the way. Take this off. Okay, looks like we need to loosen this a lot more than I thought. I tightened it in there pretty good. Alright, and we just twist and pull. A little bit of extra cleaner in there. That's not going to hurt your fuel injectors. Put this one off to the side, and let's use the one from the 2003 Elantra. Again, I'm going to slide that in. Move this, make sure this is out of the way from our gator clips. Clamp it down pretty good. Alright. Add our source of pressure and cleaning solution. Bridge that right back on there like that again. Ooh, looks like we need to rotate this. See if we can put this in the same orientation as the last one without breaking anything. Turn this way. There we go. this here, this goes on here like this, and we just knock down our cap again. That's fine, that's fine, that's fine. Put this back up. There we go. And positive was on the top, so we put the negative on first here. This one you'll actually be able to see the clamps maybe inside the little plug here. Don't need to be perfect, just as long as they're not touching in there. You don't want to short anything out. Add some cleaning solution and pressure, fuel. Alright, that should be enough. And once again, we're going to tap. Let's angle this back a little bit so you can see a little better. Oh, not enough. Alright, that should be plenty. And tap. Much better cone, much better spray coming out of the Elantra fuel injector with the 12 instead of 4 ports. So there's part one of some of the stuff we're going to do to the Tiburon to fix it up a little better, get better fuel economy, better horsepower out of it. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Any questions, concerns? I will generally answer within a 24-hour period. Quite a few people I've answered pretty quickly on their questions. Like and subscribe. Try to put more videos out since we're going to set up a car. And I will talk to you guys later.